My name is Emma Cole. And for almost 2 years, every single job I applied for mysteriously rejected me. Flushed heartbreak, perfect interviews, strong resume, great references. Still, the moment employers promised calling back, they disappeared. I thought maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I looked nervous. Maybe I lacked experience. Until one afternoon, a hiring manager accidentally revealed the horrifying truth. After every interview, someone called the companies pretending to warn them that I had a criminal record. A violent one. And the person making those calls was my own mother. That day shattered everything I believed about family. But what happened 6 months later inside a courtroom destroyed my parents' lives forever. My name is Emma Cole. I grew up in Denver, Colorado in a house where control disguised itself as love. From childhood, my parents micromanaged everything. What I wore, who I spoke to, which hobbies I pursued. At first it felt normal. Strict parents, traditional household. But as I got older, I realized something darker existed underneath their behavior. Especially with my mother. Mom didn't just want influence over my life. She wanted ownership. Complete ownership. She constantly repeated, family should never leave each other. Sounds loving, right? Except in our house, it actually meant you were never allowed independence. By 18, I wasn't permitted choosing my own college. By 21, Mom still tracked my phone location constantly. If I dated someone seriously, she sabotaged the relationship emotionally. Once she even contacted my boyfriend privately claiming I struggled with anger issues. That relationship ended 2 weeks later. At the time I thought Mom simply feared losing me emotionally. I never imagined how far she'd eventually go. My father enabled everything quietly. He rarely confronted Mom directly. Instead he hid behind silence. And honestly, silent enablers sometimes cause just as much damage as abusive people themselves. After graduating college with a business degree, I desperately wanted moving out permanently. Not because I hated my parents. Because I couldn't breathe around them anymore. Every decision became conflict. Every boundary became disrespect. Eventually I saved enough money and rented a tiny apartment across town. Mom cried dramatically the day I packed boxes. Families aren't supposed to separate like this. Dad looked disappointed but said nothing. For the first time in my life, I felt free. Or at least I tried to. The problem was finding stable work afterward. I applied everywhere. Marketing firms, office jobs, sales positions. And initially things seemed promising. Interviewers smiled. Recruiters sounded excited. Several companies even hinted I'd likely receive offers soon. Then suddenly, silence. No callbacks. No emails. Nothing. At first I blamed myself. Maybe my interview skills sucked. Maybe competition was stronger. But after the 15th rejection in 4 months, something started feeling wrong. Especially because interviewers often looked strangely uncomfortable near the end. One recruiter even asked carefully, "Is there anything in your background we should know about?" The question confused me completely. "No." She stared oddly before moving on quickly. Another company canceled my second interview only hours before the meeting. No explanation. Nothing. Meanwhile bills piled up. Stress consumed me. My savings disappeared rapidly. And through all of this, my mother constantly suggested I move back home. Constantly. "You're struggling alone. Life would be easier here. Family helps family." At the time, I didn't realize she already knew exactly why my life was collapsing. Then came the interview that changed everything. A logistics company downtown interviewed me for operations management. The interview went incredibly well. The manager, Mr. Reynolds, practically offered me the job already. He even shook my hand smiling. "Expect a call tomorrow." For the first time in months, I felt hopeful again. Then the next morning, my phone rang. But instead of congratulations, Mr. Reynolds sounded uncomfortable. "Emma, I need asking something directly." My stomach tightened instantly. He hesitated. "Why didn't you disclose your assault charges?" Everything inside me froze. My what? Silence. Then slowly he explained. A woman called the company early that morning identifying herself as a concerned relative. She claimed I had violent criminal history and emotional instability. Apparently she sounded extremely convincing. I couldn't breathe properly, because none of it was true. I whispered shakily, "I've never been arrested in my life." Mr. Reynolds went quiet. Then softly he asked, "Who would do something like that to you?" And suddenly, deep down, I already knew. My hands shook violently after hanging up. Immediately I drove toward my parents' house. The entire ride I kept praying I was wrong. Because surely no parent would destroy their child's future intentionally. Right. Mom answered the door smiling warmly like nothing happened. That smile disappeared the second she saw my face. I asked directly, "Did you call my employers?" For several seconds she said nothing. Then calmly, almost proudly, she answered, "You're not ready living independently." I stared at her in horror. "What?" Mom crossed her arms defensively. "Every time you fail, you come closer to understanding family matters more than pride." My stomach turned. Dad stood silently behind her in the hallway refusing eye contact. I realized then, he knew too. For almost 2 years, my parents secretly sabotaged every opportunity I had trying to force me back home. Every rejection, every unpaid bill, every sleepless night, all manufactured intentionally. I started shaking with rage. "You told employers I was a criminal." Mom immediately justified herself. "Only because they needed understanding you weren't stable yet." Stable. I had panic attacks because my own parents systematically destroyed my life behind my back. Then Mom whispered the sentence that finally broke something inside me forever. "We did this because we love you." No, love doesn't destroy someone's future to maintain control. That's possession. I walked out immediately, and honestly, that was the first day I emotionally stopped seeing them as safe people. The next several weeks became legal chaos. Mr. Reynolds encouraged me documenting everything. Apparently several companies kept records of suspicious warning calls. One HR representative even saved voicemail recordings. The evidence became overwhelming quickly. Defamation, interference with employment, false criminal accusations. When my lawyer reviewed everything, even she looked shocked. Most parents don't go this far. Eventually we filed civil lawsuits. Not for revenge, for survival. Because their lies financially and emotionally destroyed years of my life. The court hearings became brutal. Recordings played publicly. Employers testified. Phone records exposed everything. Mom still insisted she acted out of love. Dad claimed he didn't know how to stop her. The judge looked horrified throughout most of the proceedings. Especially after learning I lost nearly 30 job opportunities because of their actions. Then came the final ruling. Massive financial damages, restraining orders, mandatory psychological evaluations. But honestly, the money mattered least, because by then something far more painful already happened. I no longer trusted my own parents emotionally. After the trial, Mom tried approaching me outside the courthouse crying hysterically, "We were trying to protect you." I looked at her quietly for a long moment. Then answered honestly, "No, you were trying to control me." That sentence ended our relationship permanently. Today I'm 31 years old. I finally work for a company that knows the full truth and still hired me anyway. I have my own apartment, my own life, my own peace. And slowly, I'm learning that real family never sabotages your independence to keep you emotionally trapped. Real love wants people growing, even if growth means letting them leave. Control disguised as love is still control. Parents should prepare children for independence, not destroy their futures to maintain emotional power over them. And sometimes the most dangerous betrayal comes from the people society automatically tells us to trust. Healthy love supports freedom. It does not fear it. If this story touched your heart, thumbs up, like this video. Bell, subscribe for more emotional stories. Speech balloon, comment below. Would you ever forgive parents who secretly destroyed your career opportunities? Flushed heartbreak.